Testing? Okay. I made a silly and possibly consequential mistake. I mean, maybe not like too big in the grand scheme of things. I completely forgot to, I guess I didn't forget. I like sometimes on OBS my mic like the settings reset. So I've just been talking for like the past like 6-7 minutes and none of it has been coming through. So I think that's pretty funny. I've just been sitting here silently building the Nidoran. So I apologize heavily for that. I'm going to try to do my best to recap what I said. I'm also going to pull my chat back up. Okay. Pause on this for a sec. Hey everyone, Ethan here, 7 minutes into the stream. Last time we did the Nidoqueen line, this time we're doing the Nidoking line. We're using the same color scheme as the Arbok line. Yeah, I think that's all like the preliminary. I mentioned that the Emerald soundtrack is playing because... Okay, I'm probably going to resume here while I keep talking. The Emerald soundtrack is playing. I don't really have plans like going into streams when it comes to these soundtracks. I just kind of play whatever I want to that day. But what should be next stream excuse me, is I'm gonna try to like kind of theme it to the Pokemon that I'm gonna be working on. Besides that, I talked a little bit about Nidoran, or like the Nidoking line in general, where I said that this is also just filled in with magenta. Where I mentioned how my opinion of it has always been like it's been like the unsung hero of like early yellow, being a huge, if not like one of the best helps against Brock. Then I also mentioned like I couldn't remember if it got double kick around that time or if it got it after. I really don't remember. But I also remember like at the same time like getting Mankey around that time because I played I used both Mankey and Nidoran male for my yellow playthrough on the channel. So yeah. I think that's pretty much all I said. There was probably a lot of I guess, I don't know, like more detail in there, considering that I talked for like 7 minutes just to myself. But you know, I always like to try to look on the positive side of things, and it's at least the silver lining is that I will probably never make this mistake again, because I'll always remember this moment. So just like the Raticate problem a few streams ago, sometimes there's going to be setbacks, and this isn't really even much of a setback, it's just a silly little mistake. So yeah, I will make sure to not do that again. Nidoran is actually, we're like a decent way through it. You could probably tell where my vision cuts off. But, well, I mean, actually, Nidoran is actually, like, its head is, like, down quite low, so a lot of it is, like, a good amount of the work, even above its head, is, like, there's still a good amount to do. So, yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Oh, I guess another thing is, like, I messed up the lining somewhere in here. You could see that if you watch the stream. So, yeah, I had to problem solve and fix that. So yeah, I guess in a way the first couple minutes or so was just block placing and Emerald soundtrack ASMR. So there you go, I guess. You're welcome. This is just all filled in with purple. funnily enough, Nidorino is also pretty small. Like, I don't know if it... I'm pretty sure it's smaller than... its sprite is smaller than Nidorino. But we'll see. And then Nidoking's is pretty cool. And it's also going to be the first example. I guess this whole evolution line is of a Pokemon that I use in my yellow playthrough, which is the same sprites that I'm making. So it's like, it wasn't as significant when I used the Pokemon that I use in another one of my Kanto playthroughs. And now I'm just realizing that I already made Charizard, which I did also use on that team. So completely disregard what I said because I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. Either way though, I think this is like, separates like one of its ears. And then like all this down here is just magenta. Like, that's all magenta, that's all magenta. Like this is just all magenta. Alright, let's actually work our way up from here. So we are right here. More black and purple. Then the purple comes in. Black goes up, alternates with purple again. Purple, black, and the peak is right here. Go down. We got 2. Then purple and black alternating. Let's keep working over here because that's actually just completely filled in. Okay, we're almost to the top of this ear, but it doesn't quite go, it doesn't go higher than the other one. We go down, we alternate, and yeah, okay, that's correct. That goes over. There is some more like stuff to do here that isn't just filling in. And it does get a little complicated because of where the separation lies. Okay, so this is 4. And this is 2. This is 2. 1 diagonal, diagonal. And then lined with purple. And then the purple's just filled in here. And then everything outside of that is magenta. And then that comes all the way down here and connects with the rest. So I'll stop that there because I'm going to do the filling in last. And then we scroll over. I will do... I guess I could probably just get the whole thing in one. So what are we looking at here? This is purple right here. This should be 5, right? Yes. Oops. I did not mean to put that in my offhand. I think I've done that before though. And then light purple right here. Or I guess magenta, I should say. And then we got white right here, because I guess it's like one of its feet that you can barely see. Purple kind of lining that. And then purple out here. Black there, black there. That goes up like that. That lines that like that. And then the outline continues. More black diagonal. Did I do that one too many times? Oh my god, this is so confusing to look at. Yeah, that goes up like that, and then that comes over. Oh, okay, I see what I did. That's not supposed to be like that. This, and then purple. And then the black brings it in. Perfect. That's an air pocket. And then this is just all filled in. Yeah, okay, cool. And this actually over here is all purple. So I'll do that first. Anyways, while I fill this in, I actually wanted to talk about something that I kind of like realized. I don't know if it was last time I streamed, or I don't know when, but I thought about how it's probably possible to just make these sprites with like a mod or like some sort of plugin or some sort of tool where you can like copy or like interpret images or like copy something from like a website. But I did just want to, I guess, address that it's like, while I am aware that that's probably an easier option, I think part of doing this is the fact that I'm making them all with, like, by hand placing the blocks myself. I understand that, like, I'm using, in some places, I'm using, like, commands to, like, fill out the frames and stuff. But to me, at least, the frames and, I guess everything else is just kind of, like, the backdrop for the sprites is, like, that's not like the main part of it, right? There's some creative stuff in it, like the typing backgrounds that I've done, but all in all, it's not like, that's not the star of the show. What is the star of the show is the Pokemon themselves, like the completed Nidoran male right here. How's that for a segue? Nidoran male is completed, even with the audio setback and the small mistake I made. It's completed. So, I feel like that went pretty well. Now, so that's actually 4 rows completed. I'll probably do like I'll show like all of it off at the end. But we're moving on to the 5th row, which has 2 out of the 3 of this Nidoran line, as well as I think 3 2-stage evolutions. So theoretically, this whole, I mean, I guess I'll talk more about that at the end of the stream as a general timeline. So let me switch the overlay over, which Nidorino is number 33. There we go. And now let's get started. As a fun fact, Nidorino, its starting place is actually almost the exact same starting place as Nidoran's. It's actually just 1 block over to the left. If it were me, I probably would have had him start in the same place, but at the same time, they probably wanted to center it. So I don't blame them for wanting to do that, and probably agree with them, honestly. I don't know if I want to wait. I'm probably going to wait to talk more about how using Nidoking has been until I get to Nidoking. I just realized that I can't see my chat. Something I think I'm always going to forget. Where am I working here? There's a lot of white for Nidorino. I think it like is supposed to act as like a highlight. I guess it is. But it looks like Nidorino has more alternating colors as opposed to Nidoran, and I think even Nidoking. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, you could easily tell just off from the get-go here that it has a lot more white involved. And also has a lot of purple lining black inside of it. Although I guess Nidoran male kind of had that too, just with its like ears and stuff. And that goes up a little bit, and that goes up a little bit more. And that goes down like that. And diagonal. And then I may as well do this pattern here since I can see it and there's no better time to do it. Okay, perfect. And you know what? We may as well go down and start the eye because I can see it. It honestly looks really strange close up. It just looks so like not like, it looks so like incoherent and messy, but like from far away it looks great. And then 2 over diagonal. I can't see anything past that, so I will just have to work with what I have. Purple there. Light purple there, purple, black, purple, white. Okay, that's all I could see of the eye for now. Ooh, I just cracked my neck. I'm gonna go back over here and then work my way up from the bottom because I went vertical very quick. 2, and then this kind of like funky pattern. I will connect this up with where it's supposed to go, and I may as well do that purple right there. And then I will also do this purple right here because there's supposed to be black right there and black right there and black right there. That's 4 across. That's 2 up. This goes under it and past it by 3. And then this goes up to be 1 over than that. Hello, Chalk. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad you joined now and not at the beginning because you would have heard about 6.5 minutes of silence before realizing that I did not connect my mic properly. So it was just a silent block placing ASMR stream. Okay. Well, I wasn't sure what's going on here, but it's just as simple as that. And then this is all magenta. Honestly, it might be if you like that sort of thing. I definitely don't think I'm beating myself up for it, but I honestly don't think it's as big of a problem as I think it is. But right now we're working on Nidorino, and progress is going quite smoothly. I'm hoping I'm not jinxing myself by saying that. Yeah, Nidoran, despite the audio thing, went completely fine. I did have like one moment where I kind of got lost, but it went fine. And I'm probably about ready to scroll. I have a little bit more outlining stuff to do on the bottom here. That's good. This is just all filled in with purple. This goes up, and then this just lines it. And then that goes 3, and then I can't see beyond that. And then I can't see anymore, and that's not supposed to be purple. Okay, let's move my view. This is what he looks like right now. It's still very much fragmented. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I'm gonna try to do the bottom right portion of him. So this goes over here, goes up, and lines that. 1, 2, 3. There's a white right here. And then we got some purple. Purple up here that connects with that. Diagonal that, diagonal that. And then we got a bunch more white, just like on the left side. But I'm gonna focus on what's around it first so I can determine how far up it's supposed to go. And then that goes along there, like that. And then that just connects with like everything else. And did I complete the eye? Not quite. And now I did. Okay, cool. That's just all magenta. This white goes up completely, fills that in, that right there. Cool. Then over here, we have more white. And then purple, and then even more white. Should probably get back to the outlines, but this is what I'm doing right now. And then that goes up like that. Yep, okay. And this is just all magenta. I'll like fill in like the smaller gaps, just so I know what I'm going to be working with later. And then there's also a little purple square. There we go, okay. Going back to the actual outline part. This, I think it's his back leg. It's like in a really kind of like weird position. It's like kind of like ready to attack, but also like it's like a mildly startled stance if I had to give my interpretation. So things are not going to be in the spot you expect them to be. Okay, so that's looking good. There's like a black basically lines this entire thing right here like that. Goes up by 3 here, 2 here, little purple thing, and then the black comes up diagonally. And then this just like lines it. Cool. And I may as well fill that little part in because it's small. Okay. Here, go up 3 black, and down with the white. And then you have more black lining over here. And then purple just kind of accents it. Okay, can't see anymore. Let's scroll up. I could probably zoom it out a little bit. Yeah. Can I see the top here? Probably not. Can I see? I have that. Okay, I could scroll up a little. Yeah, okay. I could probably do that. I could like barely see where I have to work, but it's the price of, I don't know, not wanting to move the screen more. Also, so far listening to Gen 3 soundtrack has been pretty great. It's not something I do like often at all, and I feel like most of the time when you like listen to Pokemon compilation, like music compilation videos, they usually play the tracks from Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, so you don't get that like Game Boy sound. But I honestly like, I really enjoy the Game Boy sound sometimes. So okay, and then this is just all white right here, and this just lines that. Okay. Looks like we got more to do though, because here that goes like that, because we got some more outlining. More white, more black. This is all magenta, I think. It's kind of hard to see, but I believe it is. Then this is actually not all magenta. It's actually not much of it is at all. Most of it's purple. So I'm going to fill in what magenta there is and then go from there. That goes all the way up to the white. There's an extra white right here. Whole row. And then I'm probably going to start doing the outline this way so that I know what to expect. So there's a purple here, a magenta there, and a white here, and then a purple here, black lines that, and it does right there too, and then 1, 2, 3, and then purple, and then 2 black. Okay, so then magenta all the way up, purple until it lines up with that, and then purple right there. And then there's 3 of that, 4 of that. That goes over this way. 3 black under that. I'm also going to do this. And this goes 1 below it, because that makes an L. And then this just kind of loops around. That's purple. And then bits of white Oh, actually, white goes here too. Purple. Yeah, like I said, Nidorino's kind of like, has a lot more alternating colors. I think even Nidoking's not gonna have, or Nidoking's not gonna have this much. I don't know why I keep saying Nidoking. And then a little more white, magenta. There's like a lot more that goes below it though. And then I don't know how far I'm gonna like work on this part over here because I want to get back to the other side. But this goes up like this, and then this line is purple. Okay, I'm gonna go back over here and do like the rest of this part. There's one black here, one purple here, and then the rest of this is just purple. But I am gonna fill it in because there's not a lot of areas where it's just purple. So yeah, okay, cool. And then this is just all magenta. I may as well fill it in because there's not a lot. And then now we could kind of start looking over here. This is black all the way up. Purple right there. We got white in here. Then this goes down until it hits the first white of there. A little bit of purple lining across, I think that's one of the ears. Okay, how many diagonal up do I have to go? I'm gonna scroll my view over and look at this. From the bottom, which, have I done any yet? No, okay, I haven't done any yet, but it starts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then it's lined with white. Every single one. Like that. Okay. And then I'm gonna put this magenta here and this magenta here because they are otherwise like kind of like blocked off. Purple, black, and then we'll go up here, black here, here, and here, white here, purple on top. That is, well, actually I guess I already did the peak because the peak was over there. This goes over, and then I'm just gonna put magenta there because it's like exposed to the outside. And then we have alternating black and purple. Yeah, if you like the color purple, this is definitely the stream for you because this is all it's gonna be. Just like last time was like nothing but like blues, this time it's nothing but purples. And then this should just about connect it down here. Yeah, that looks right. I mean, I can't fully see down there, but it looks pretty correct. Yeah, okay, because that goes like that, and then 2 right there, 2 right there. Yeah, and then magenta, magenta. And then we do have like the whole shape of the ear here. So starting here, it's purple, then 3 across, and then expands out 2. This goes up to 4 before going in. It goes in 1, and then in 1 again, but does that twice, and then 2 there. And then this just goes straight down. And this should just be filled in now. Perfect, and then I still have to figure out where exactly the black goes. So black goes around this and up 1, and even does 3 right there, 2 right there, then it does 1s for a while until it hits the purple. fill this part in right now. Okay. And then it's just filled in here. Cool. And the rest of this is just magenta, which I may as well do because it's a tight space. And then there is also some purple here, which actually takes up that spot. It's like an M that kind of wraps around it. And there's also a purple right there. That actually might be it for the most part. I think I might just have to fill in now. Yeah, that seems like that's the case. A little bit of magenta here. I probably should have just filled it in at the time since there was so little. Is this air? I feel like this is an air. No, it's magenta. And then this is just all magenta. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm not like messing anything up. Where? Okay. The purple's up there. Okay, cool. Yeah. Oops. And just like that, that is Nidorino complete. So that means that we have Nidoking up next, which is going to be quite a bit bigger. I'm gonna switch the overlay over, and then I'm gonna take a short intermission to grab myself a beverage. So, Nidoking. Okay, I will keep the music playing, but I will be right back. Okay, I am back. Let me pull up my chat. Alright, we're good to go. Let's get started on Nidoking, which I did. It's in the overlay, right? Yes, okay, it is. Okay, so let's get started. So, Nidoking, quite big. I mean, shouldn't come as a surprise. It's a big Pokemon, and they have to fit a big Pokemon into a small little sprite space, so they're going to use as much as they can. So, as I mentioned earlier, I used a Nidoking in my yellow playthrough for this channel. I don't know if I've ever used it any other time, but I remember it just kind of being an absolute powerhouse. It has an incredibly diverse move pool, which for in Gen 1 is like completely invaluable because most Pokemon can only learn whatever types they are, and then normal. So anytime you can get your hands on a Pokemon that can learn not only just like one move of like a different type, but several. Because I think Nidoking can learn Ice Beam and Thunderbolt, And then obviously, like, it's a ground type, so it can learn Earthquake. So it's just like, it's so good. Design-wise, like, it's not my favorite. In Gen 1, not even close. But, I don't dislike it. I think it's pretty cool. I'm trying to think, like, trying to think about, like, the rest of my yellow team and, like, if it was, like, maybe the best. That's kind of difficult because that team also had, like, Snorlax on it and Lapras. Like, just Pokemon that are, like, really... What are we doing here? Okay, this goes like this. Pokemon that are just, like, so solid. I'd probably have to go back and, like, look if I want to, like, determine who was the best. But Nidoking was definitely up there. It was definitely in the top 3. Because what were the... Vileplume, I mean, they were all, like, good, but, like, Vileplume isn't winning any awards. Primeape, especially in, like, a Gen 1 setting, isn't either. And Charizard, while, like, cool, is not super extraordinary, especially in the beginning of the game. Although, I guess the good thing about Yellow is that you don't get it at the beginning, you get it, like... Well, I mean, I guess you can get it... I don't know. Did you get it before Misty or after Misty? I think I got it before Misty. So... It at least avoids Brock, so it's like you don't... It's not even a factor before then. This right here is mostly filled in with purple. And then while I don't know much about it, I know that Nidoking is also like the king of Gen 1 speedruns. Or at least yellow speedruns. I don't know if it is in red and blue or not. But yeah, honestly though, like for good reason. Like it does not have that hard of a time soloing the game, and that's saying something considering that it's a poison type that's weak to the strongest type in the game being Psychic. So we're working on like the arm, I guess, or like I guess it's hand, because it's like the pose it's doing is kind of like showing off. So its hand is like in front of I guess the screen, if you want to call it that. I'm gonna fill out this purple right here just so I know where I'm working. Then that comes over. That's 3, that's like that, that's like that. Okay, cool. And then this lines the top completely. And then that goes over. And there's some more purple here. We got some white. It's like one of its like claws on its hand. Magenta there, black there. Where? Okay, I'm confusing myself, but okay, I know where I am. And this is down here. This purple kind of hangs off. I'm actually going to do the inside of the hand first, so that it makes the outside easier to do, so I don't have to count. This just comes up, past the white, be black up here, and then it just keeps going. Purple, out there, and then that comes down there. And for the most part, I could fill all of this in with purple. I think Nidoking is gonna have filling in equal parts purple and magenta. How many across is that? Oh, I guess I could just do this. This goes like that. more black. Then purple right there. Black right here. And black right here. Like that? Yeah. And this is like its face. There's a lot going on in here. Okay, and then this is like part of its teeth. And this is 3, and this comes up over here. A couple pieces of magenta. And I lost where I was, but I just found it. Got a lot of white in here. That's 4 across, and then this is like longer than that. Purple there. More magenta. And some black. Black down here. And then a separator down here. I'll fill those two in because they look blocked off. Okay. So that's, have I done like the whole foot? I kind of did. I'm going to fill in the white down here for the foot. So that I know when I go back to fill it in with magenta, I don't have to worry about anything else besides the magenta. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's just magenta. And then come up here. Right here, it goes over by 4. Oops. And then purple kind of hugs it. So much purple on the outside this time around. Like on this whole evolution line in general. And then more diagonal black that is going to be leading up to like its stomach. It's kind of weird that this is lined with magenta. And then 2, and then 1, and then 2 purple. And then, excuse me, and then the black goes around it. Then it goes up, and then it connects there diagonally. Cool. A little bit of purple here. And then there's some white here as well. And it goes like that. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then down 1. And the rest is white. Excuse me, I'm sorry for that. And then that's just all magenta. This is all magenta. This is all magenta. Well, this actually isn't all magenta because there's white here. So let me put that in. That's why I put that magenta there. And then how long does this go for? It goes until here. And then let's continue with outline stuff. 3, 4. And that comes down diagonally. Purple. A little bit of black. I can't see beyond that. And magenta here. Okay, I can do a little bit more outline stuff up here before I have to change my view. Purple there. Black there. Oops. I mean, I guess I probably didn't need to delete that, but that's completely filled in up there. That's filled in at least like that. 3 purple, 2 purple. Then that connects up with this. There's some white here. Purple and magenta. And then this is just aligned with purple, basically. This actually goes out 5. And then this up here is just all magenta. And 2 past it. Probably didn't need to do that now because it's probably just part of filling in, but meh. That goes up like that, and then I think that's black, and I think that's white, and then I literally cannot see anymore. Okay, let's scroll my view over. Okay. So we're still on like the bottom part of the face. I have like the, do I have the whole foot going up? No, but I can do that. 2, 3, purple. It's like at the far bottom of my view, but I can see just enough of it. That goes like that. And then white all in here. Also, there's a white right there. That goes like that. There's some purple here. A little bit of magenta in here. And also a magenta right there. And then more outline stuff. And then this part is like, it's like knee. And it goes almost to the bottom. The bottom is lined with purple right there though. 2 there, like that, okay. And then I'll fill the rest of this in because it's just a very tiny section of magenta. We're looking the knee. Yeah, and there's actually split up by the black. And that's magenta. Okay. There's some more white in here. And then the rest of it is magenta. I'm going to fill this in because there's barely any of it. I'll leave that. There's a little bit more white up here. Like that. Fill in the magenta. And then we kind of go over to the arm. Get 1 and then 2. And then a little star, I guess I kind of like to refer to them as. And this goes to the wall. This is the wall right here. So I know I'm in the right spot. Never gonna forget that. 1, 2, 3. And this kind of follows that a little bit. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. Okay, and then there's a bunch of black in here. Well, actually, I guess not that much. Some purple. Wow, okay. I did not expect to do that, and it's actually really funny because I was just about to say out loud that I feel like I'm getting a lot more efficient and better with this. But I guess even just thinking that was my downfall because, wow, that could not have been worse timing. I think that's the first time I've broken glass on stream in like a couple streams. I guess the streak had to end eventually, and funnily enough, I accidentally broke glass when setting up the starting spots for today. But I didn't count that because it wasn't on stream. But I guess it doesn't matter because I did it anyway. Now let's see what we got going on up here. There's like this like purple streak across his face. Oh, I guess it's leading to the horn. I guess that makes sense. There's 3 black there. That purple, magenta. Purple goes up a little bit. Magenta, purple, black. And that hits the wall. We got some white here too. 2, 3. And then like that. I don't know if there's any more, but that's all I can see. And then fill in the black where I can. Cool. Okay. Can I work on his face? That goes like that. That goes like that and up to... I have no idea what this song is. I don't think I've ever heard this song in my life. It's interesting, I guess, but I've never heard it. And there's this right here. Oops, that's purple. And then just like a bunch of purple here, but I could find my way up to the eye from here. Okay, that's all the white. And then that comes over here. And then I'm gonna have to kind of fill out the lining for the purple. That's 4, that comes in 2. Yeah, okay, because that's black. One, 2, 3. This pattern is so weird, especially since I can't see all of it, so I have no idea what I'm doing, in a way. And then this is all just purple. I think this is one of the last spots where it's filled in with like the purple. And then we got some magenta in here in the eye. And then there's also this little thing, which I think is supposed to be like, oh, I guess it's eyebrow. And then there's also one purple right there. And then that lines that well. And I have that going all the way up. So that is just all magenta. Let's, there's some purple in here that I could fill in. I think. Yeah, good. Okay, because that's up there. That's like that. And then I think that comes up. Yeah, okay. And I think all of this is just filled in. I guess I could scroll my view over now. Yeah, okay, that's just all filled in. I already have like the bottom part of that done. So let's just see how much more I can do here. Okay, yeah, so that looks right. And this is like the top claw. That's the edge of that. So this goes end to end. I don't know if any other Pokemon does that actually. Probably, but I'm blanking right now. And then just alternating basically between black and purple. More so black outlines with like some purple accents here and there. Got some white here. And that's 3, yeah, okay. 2 purple there, purple in the corner. Purple that lines this whole thing. There is, I don't know what to call these, because like there's like these and then like the upside down ones. I'm like slowly coming up with names for like every kind of like pattern, kind of like Legos, but I don't really know what to call it. I'll find it. I was thinking like crown, but I don't know. I'll probably call it a crown for now, like crown and upside down crown, even though that is such a, like, I'd be done placing it by the time I said the whole thing. Okay, this is just magenta. I'm gonna fill this in here because it's a small section and I want to. Yep, okay, looks right. Let's continue on the outline. We are kind of working on the tail now, since the tail is in the back, like the upper left. This goes up 3 initially and then 3 more. And then it goes diagonal for this. These are, these ones are like Tetris blocks. But I don't know how I would call it that with like, without some sort of long title. Then purple there, black, purple, black, purple, black. And this goes all the way to the top too. Does that mean that this touches all 4 ends? I'm pretty sure it does. Which is kind of crazy. I think it's the only Pokemon to do that so far. And some magenta here. Purple. Oh, okay, no, this is supposed to be purple. This is magenta. White. And I already have that white filled in. And I haven't done the other side of the tail yet, which, why don't I do that then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll go down here a little bit, just to fill this part in. Fill this in. There's white here. White. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, I get it. Sometimes I look at spots that's like above where it's supposed to be and I confuse myself for no reason. That's like that. This is all purple. This part is like this, with just a little bit of purple and slightly more magenta. And then that's the tail. And now I can work my way down from here. Got some more white. And also purple here so that the white isn't exposed. Okay, this is actually purple. I thought it was black. Purple touches that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Purple. Sideways Tetris. Then this goes up to the top again. This really is like probably the biggest sprite I've worked on so far. I mean, it kind of can't get any bigger than this. It just like, it could fill the contents of like what is already there. Since they're all like the same like innate size, but it just depends on how much is filled in. And that goes down from there. That's 4 across, and then like that. This part's gonna be a little confusing for me. 4 down with the black, then a little L. Then honestly, I should probably start doing the purple to make it easier for me. 5 across, goes up, and this goes over 1. They each go over 1 now. They each stay the same. This side stays the same, and this side comes in. This side comes in again. And then 2 there. Cool. And that's like the general shape of the ear. up 3. Goes in on each side. Goes in on each side again, and then stays the same for a row. Actually, it doesn't, because this comes in. And then right here is a purple, and then it's black to the left of that. And then same thing right here. Magenta right there. That's all magenta. There's like a magenta line in here. I'll just do that quick, I guess. While also trying to do the outlines. Okay. And then this goes down like that. Oops, that's not supposed to be white. Okay. Yeah, and that's like his face. Then I remember I cut that off there. I am gonna have to do a little bit more purple though. I think that's it though. Well, there's this too. And there's a piece of white. The rest is magenta. This one is actually just purple leading up to it. Like that. Then more black outline. Almost goes to the top again. And then comes down. More white. And more white over here too. And that goes over, and then I can't see anymore. Magenta there, so that like it's blocked off. Okay, so that's like all magenta. Let's scroll over here and hopefully do the last part, which is just like the ear, and then I can fill everything in. Sideways Tetris right here. I'm definitely going to start calling them Sideways Tetris now, just because that's what feels the most natural. This touches the top again. And then this follows that down there, which connects nicely. We got some white interspaced throughout here. Got some black here. Oops, that's supposed to be white. Okay, I'll do like this part first. Where am I? This is supposed to be 3. And then 3. Go down to, go up to. Then, oh no, I did it again. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'm not having the best track record today. That goes up. How many down does that go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One past that, yeah, okay. 2 diagonal there, okay. So that's actually like, I think like all the gaps have been closed. And then here that just is like that. Surrounded, little steps. Okay. And then that's just all magenta. And there is another sectioned off area here. And then I think we're just filling in now. Actually, okay, well there's 2 purple right there. Yeah, okay, let's do this. I'm gonna do the head last. Okay, something I did want to mention, I don't know how often I'm gonna provide updates about it, but I did want to chime in with an update about my Pokemon Gold and Silver video. I'm pleased to say that the rough draft for my script is complete. So now comes like a lot of like, I guess just revising and stuff, and then after that I get to record it and then edit. lately I've been kind of doing the process of recording and editing simultaneously instead of recording everything first and then editing, because I found that doing this newer kind of way of working is a bit faster, because I just can't record everything in one day. Like, my voice just will not allow for it. But if I record some audio and then do some editing, then that's a lot easier, because I could theoretically do, you know, as much editing as I want in any given day. It's still a long ways out, in my opinion. The script is only one big part of an even bigger project. But yeah, I don't have a release window or anything like that. Also, I will say, without knowing for sure, this video is going to be longer than I anticipated, and might end up being one of the longer ones on my channel. Not the longest. I don't think anything will top Halo 2 for quite a while. But this video is going to be pretty long. So yeah. And, oops. With that is Nidoking. And I'm gonna be honest, I think he looks pretty awesome. Wow, that felt like a lot, but like, that wasn't bad. You are right, what a king. So that wraps up not only the Nidoking line, but the Nidoran lines in general. So now we are 4 rows completed, and how many Pokemon have we done at this point? Nidoking was the 34th, so 34 Pokemon. I don't know the exact, like, percentage that, actually, you know, I could calculate that pretty quick here. Let me see. Is it not just 34 over 151? It is, and that would be about 22.5% done. Which I was gonna say like a little over a fifth, so that lines up perfectly. I actually looked ahead and tried to generally plan out what streams would have what Pokemon and how I'd go about that. And theoretically, well, next stream, and this is if everything goes right. There could be setbacks like with the Eradicate situation, but hopefully the way I intend everything to go is that anytime there are 2-stage evolutions, I'm going to try to do 2 of those in one stream. And then if there's a 3-stage, I'm just going to do the 3-stage. Things get a little muddy when we get into first stage, but typically they're going to be paired up with whatever's around them. So sometimes there will be a 2-stage that's around them, or they'll be in a stream of other 1-stages. Yeah. Theoretically, it should all work out, and I should always be making 3 to 4 Pokemon a stream. Next time will be the Clefable line and the Ninetales line, so very, I don't want to say girly, but you know, they're kind of for the girls. So I'm excited to do them. Yeah, I'm gonna try to find a good soundtrack that I like to go along with it. And then we'll go from there. Chalk, thank you so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have you here in the stream, and thank you for supporting my channel. And thank you to everyone who may have tuned in, that either lurked or likes to watch the VOD. I appreciate you all so much. I should theoretically be back next week with doing Clefable and Ninetales. I will make a post on probably Tuesday, but more than likely it'll be same day, same time. So thank you all so much again, and I I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again soon.